My husband didn't care about me and wanted to drive off to look for the lost companion Lily Taylor. My friend on the mountaineering team said that if I didn't get timely treatment, I would die soon. John shook my hand away and said, "Just a snake bite. What's all the fuss? Lily is lost and it's very dangerous. I have to find her quickly." John didn't know that I was bitten by a Trimerersurus mucrosquamatus, not a grass snake. My legs were in so much pain that I was almost losing feeling. The fetus in my belly didn't seem to be breathing. I was about to die. Lucy Garcia anxiously said that I was dying, but John Smith, my husband, still didn't let me get in his car. "John, Mary Miller has lost feeling in her legs. If she is not treated in time, she will die." Lucy grabbed the car door tightly, trying to put me in the car. John pushed Lucy away impatiently and looked at me coldly. "Lily is lost. It's gonna be dark soon. I have to find her quickly. It's normal for climbers to be bitten by snakes. What's all the fuss? If you are so scared, don't join us anymore." He kicked away the dead snake on the ground directly. "You found a dead snake to trick me. Are you kidding me?" Lucy slapped me to keep me awake. She cried and begged John to take me to the hospital as soon as possible. "Mary is your wife. Don't you worry about her." But John frowned in disgust. "I am the captain of the mountaineering team. I have to be responsible for the team members. Lily needs me now. You are with Mary together and nothing will happen to her." But I was really about to die. I felt the snake venom spread to the point where my arms felt numb. The fetus in my belly also stopped breathing at some point. I felt desperate. I wanted to cry and tell John that our baby stopped breathing. I wanted to tell him how sad I was, but I couldn't. I was so weak. Watching John walk towards the car without looking back, I tried to muster up all my strength to climb down from the stretcher and crawl towards him. But I was so weak that my arms just hung off to the side. "Please, help me." I struggled to make a weak cry for help. Lucy was crying breathlessly and was too anxious to speak. John looked at me, a mess lying on the ground in disgust. "Look at yourself now. You look like a crazy woman. I'm going to save people. Why do you have to be like this? You make me feel disgusting." My consciousness was getting weaker and weaker, but I still tried my best to open my eyes and look at him so that he could see the pleading in my eyes. But at that moment, a cry suddenly came from John's intercom. It was the delicate voice of Lily. "Ah, John, I'm so scared. I don't know what was chasing me just now. Could it be a wolf? Oh, come and save me." Hearing that, John was immediately worried and pushed away Lucy, who was trying to stop him. Lucy wanted to say something, but John turned around and shouted angrily, "Aren't you worried about Lily? Stop fooling around with this crazy woman. Okay, Lily is alone in the mountain. Do you want her to die?" After saying that, John quickly jumped into the car and slammed the door shut. As the engine started, the taillights of the car quickly disappeared in the dust. Lucy sat on the ground helplessly and held my hand tightly, muttering, "No, we can't wait here like this." Lucy and the other companions carried me to a nearby village to ask for help, but my eyelids were getting heavier and heavier. I tried hard to say something. Seeing me, Lucy leaned over and cried, but I couldn't open my mouth, so I could only look at the backpack in front of me. The emergency numbers of John and my mother were inside. Lucy nodded desperately, crying, "Mary, Mary." As I listened to my companions on the mountaineering team angrily complaining about John, I gradually felt my soul floating up and drifting away into the distance. My soul floated quickly in the wind and came to John. John was driving towards the mountain anxiously, and occasionally shouted with the intercom, but there was no response from the intercom, so he stepped on the accelerator even more frantically, muttering, "Hold on, I'm coming." It was John who insisted on leading the team to climb the mountain. I had just found out I was pregnant, but before I had a chance to tell him the news, we had a big fight about going into the mountain. Lily, a female hiker in the group, said that the scenery in the mountain was particularly beautiful, so John excitedly brought me there. But the mountain was too remote. I said that it was too dangerous, but Lily said that what we pursued was exactly the natural environment. John nodded repeatedly and forced me to go into the mountain. I said I wanted to go back. John got furious and said that I made trouble. He pushed me away and walked in front with Lily, talking and laughing. "John, is that okay? It's dangerous for your wife Mary to stay here alone." Lily wore a yoga suit, showing off her good figure. It was like she came to the mountain to do yoga. How considerate Lily is. "You are not a kid. Don't be so petty." Quickly, John urged me impatiently, but turned around and chatted with Lily gently. I didn't dare to wait alone at the foot of the mountain, so I could only follow them slowly. But just when we reached halfway up the mountain, Lily's leg was scratched by the bushes in the mountain. Her yoga pants were torn, and her white calf was scratched. Seeing that, John immediately ran over with an anxious look on his face. "Are you okay?" Then he supported Lily and asked her if she could continue walking. As soon as Lily's feet landed on the ground, she screamed and fell into John's arms with a shy face. "John, I seem to be unable to walk any further, but it's too awkward to be in this place." Lily looked embarrassed, but her eyes were fixed on John. "Come on, get on my back. I'll carry you." John half squatted down without hesitation, wanting to carry Lily. "Ah, is that okay? Mary is here." "I'm fine. John, I can walk. Don't mind her. I'm the captain of the mountaineering team. It's my duty to help the team members." John rolled his eyes at me unhappily and carefully carried Lily on his back. Lying on John's back, Lily turned her head and gave me a smug smile. Later, our group got separated in the dense forest, and I was accidentally bitten by a poisonous snake. Each member on the mountaineering team had an intercom, but Lily's intercom broke for some reason before. John generously handed my intercom to Lily and said that we both could just use one. After being bitten by the snake, I quickly judged that it was a Trimerersurus mucrosquamatus. I simply bandaged the wound and wanted to call for help, but I didn't have an intercom and my cell phone had no signal at all. I was wailing in despair in the valley. Luckily, Lucy and the others heard my voice and found me. Seeing that I was injured, they hurriedly carried me down the mountain. When we reached the foot of the mountain, I saw John. I was frightened because I got lost and was bitten by a poisonous snake. Just as I was about to pull John to say something, he interrupted me. He said that Lily was lost in the mountain and had just spoken to him on the intercom. He had to rescue her quickly. I wanted to cry to him, but suddenly I felt dizzy and passed out. In the last moment before I fainted, I heard him say with disdain on his face, "Humph. I'm just going to rescue the lost Lily. If you're jealous of her good figure, just say it directly. Why do you have to stop me in this way?" When I woke up, the scene at the beginning happened. Lucy and the others tried their best to ask John to drive me to the hospital first, but he drove away the only car to save Lily in a hurry. The car was my only hope of survival. Looking at John, who was extremely anxious in the car at the moment, I couldn't help but feel a little sad. I was almost dying. Even though I begged him, he didn't save me. Well, because Lily said she was lost and scared, he got so nervous. He wasn't like that before. We also met each other while mountain climbing. At that time, John was probably not very experienced in mountain climbing and accidentally slipped down the hillside and fainted halfway up the mountain. I rushed over and saved him. He fell in love with me at first sight and started pursuing me madly. At that time, he treated me very gently and patiently and was a perfect boyfriend. But then everything changed. John met Lily, a woman who looked very much like his first love. They knew each other in a group of mountaineering. After they made an appointment to go out together once, John seemed like a different person, and all he talked about was Lily. The car was shaking wildly on the mountain road, and the 4-leaf clover jade I gave to John was hitting the car window wildly. There were 2 styles 4-leaf clover jades, one large and one small. I hung the big one in John's car and wore the small one with me. I hoped that it could bless the 2 of us to be together forever in safety. John looked at the wildly shaking 4-leaf clover jade, complained irritably, pulled it off and threw it into the car. But at that moment he seemed to suddenly think of something, and he was anxiously flipping through his mobile phone while driving. Soon he called me. Seeing that, I suddenly became curious that how could he still think of me? But how could I get through on the phone now? Hearing the busy tone on the phone, his expression suddenly became extremely impatient and he kept saying something. After trying several times and failing to get through, he gave up and took out his intercom. Lucy, please tell Mary to stop making trouble and go back to the camp as soon as possible. Also, ask her to prepare something of warming the stomach. Lily has been lost for so long. She must be cold and hungry when she comes back." John finished speaking quickly and hung up the intercom without waiting for Lucy to say anything. He called Lily on the intercom with an anxious look on his face. Soon, a faint response came from the intercom. "John, is that you?" Hearing her voice, John's face suddenly lit up. He slammed on the brakes to a stop, then held the intercom in both hands and asked frantically, "Lily, where are you now? Are you okay? Is it safe around you now? Take a quick look to see if there are any landmarks." Listening to Lily's intermittent replies, John nodded frantically. He smiled happily and quickly turned the car around and headed towards the place Lily mentioned. "Don't be afraid. I'll be there soon. Wait for me."